This passage from today's gospel and the passage immediately preceding it, which is the Transfiguration, are really the story of our lives. Well, what do I mean by that? In the Transfiguration, as we know, the disciples go up the mountain and Jesus is transfigured, and Elijah and Moses, and God is real. He's so real, so tangible, so present. Their hearts are overcome. They have zero doubt. They say, let's erect tents and stay here forever, right? And Jesus says, no, we must go down. And here they are a couple hundred yards later, the next passage, and they're already saying, but wait a minute. Elijah's supposed to come. So the doubts are creeping in already, and they're not even that far away from this seminal faith event in their lives. Well, I don't want to be hard on the disciples because I think it's that way for us. You know, we have these powerful experiences where God is so real to us, you know, whatever that is, the birth of a child or the death of a friend, some meaningful moment in our life where God is just right there and tangible for us. And then the next day, maybe doubt begins to creep in. And that's the story of our faith lives, I believe. I was listening to a podcast this morning called, the woman on the podcast had written a book called How God Becomes Real. And she's an anthropologist, a Stanford anthropologist. And anyway, she was talking about the different faith traditions in the world and how God becomes real and stays real for people. And when it came to Catholicism, she said God becomes real and stays real in the Eucharist, in our prayer, and in our neighbor, right? Well, you don't have to be a Stanford PhD to figure that out, but I thought it was interesting that an anthropologist, even looking at it and studying Catholics, says, and these three people with these characteristics, God stays real in their life, very real. Eucharist, prayer, and neighbor. When I was in theology studies, we moved into West Oakland, sort of a poorer neighborhood, and there was a homeless man who would sit on the bench near our house, and he knew we were seminarians. He was a big man, and I never asked him, but he had the name Bone Crusher. That's how he introduced himself. So I never asked him how he got that name. But anyway, from time to time, when he'd be sitting out there, myself or some of my community mates would pass him, and we'd say to him, how you doing today, Bone Crusher? And he would say, God is real. Even if he had had a few drinks, he would just keep repeating, God is real. And sometimes if you stop, he would talk about all the ways in which God was real for him that day, in the things he had seen, or in the sunshine, the blue sky. So whether you're a PhD or you're a bone crusher, you know, God is real in this Eucharist we celebrate today, and when we pray and when we take care and love our neighbor. The good news in this Ignatian year is that Ignatius left us the examen. This time of day, each day, once, maybe twice, of 5 to 10 minutes, where we really ask ourselves the question, where has God been real for me today? Where has God been real in the Eucharist? Where has God been real in my prayer? Where has God been real to me and the people that I've dealt with that day, with whom I've interacted? So we pray in this Advent season that we take time to think about how real God is for us today, knowing that God will become more real with each Eucharist, with each prayer period, and with each act of kindness or love or justice on behalf of our neighbor. God bless us. God give us the grace to do that.